So this is just a quick presentation for, as we discussed, the 3 best communities, I believe, in my opinion, for villas that are available right now in Dubai, right? So number 1, we're going to look at Miras Acres, okay? Number 2, we have Athlon by a very big developer, Al, headquartered in Abu Dhabi. And then we have, in my opinion, the best one, Shoba Elwood. So to begin, we're just going to go over basically the location first and foremost. In this map, you can see I've highlighted where these 3 communities are, right? We have Acres in blue, we have the Athlon in red, and we have Elwood in Shoba purple right there. Now, this is the entire map of Dubai. As you mentioned, you've never been here. So just to go over the map of Dubai first and foremost, of course, all the hot spots right now, first and foremost, we have Palm Jebel Ali. Okay, this is a new community that's coming up. We have Palm Jumeirah over there, and in the front, you can see the Dubai Islands, and both airports highlighted in basically green. Now, these 2 airports are basically the borders of Dubai, you can imagine, right? So that's basically where the old Dubai was, that's DXB, Dubai International, and then we have the new one coming up, which is Al Maktoum Airport. And as you can see, these communities are basically right smack in the middle, right? And if you look where they are, we have, of course, the shoreline. And if you come back into the suburban areas where, let's say we had older communities like, let's say, Mudan, Arabian Ranches, all these communities which are very suburban communities, villa style communities, were much more family oriented rather than, the bling bling skyline of, let's say, downtown Marina, JBR, all these kind of areas. So this is, and you can see that most of this area is still empty. So this is where the natural graduation of, villa communities, townhouse communities are coming up as well. And just to, name a few right now, let's say Damac Sun City, we had Miras Cherry Woods over there. All these communities, some of them old and upcoming communities, they're coming up in this area, again, as I mentioned, specifically because this is where the suburban lifestyle is. It's away from the hustle and bustle of the city. So this is just a overall map view of Dubai. Of course, you can see where the Burj Khalifa downtown is. And these communities, again, there was a massive extension over here. If you see this line right here, which is the main road basically where Shoba Elwood is located. This basically small road that seems right now, because this is an older map, is basically Al Ain Highway. Now, this is a 12-lane highway. We have 6 lanes on both east sides. Sheikh Hamdan himself, the Crown Prince of Dubai, basically started this project. I believe it was like an 800 million dirham project. And the reason they do that, again, Dubai government is very fast. They understand where the growth is at, and they're doing that specifically. So, the connectivity, we have Emars Valley here, Farm Gardens, all these massive communities coming up, and the population is going to increase a lot. So understanding that, being, the future focused government that we do have, are blessed with here in Dubai, they of course decided to make this entire highway. Now, the reason that's very useful as well is because, again, we have Al Ain Highway. So getting somewhere to downtown or the airport, we're looking at barely, 20-25 minutes with no traffic at all. Even though with all the future population that's coming up, let's say in the valley, Farm Gardens, all these kind of communities, again, Athlon, Acres, you can imagine the population growth that is going to be coming in this area. And of course, reasons for growth are, as you yourself know, you're living in UK, we have a lot of taxation problems, we have, inflation, economic instability. And Dubai is like, very famously called the Merchant of Hope. And the reason it's called that is because, we have political stability, we don't have a lot of taxes, the government leaves you alone, they really don't care about what you do. And it's one of the safest countries in the world. Okay, we don't have any budget deficits, all these kind of things, we're always in surplus. So all these things combined, especially along with all the problems right now in the world, as you can see, a lot of the shift is happening into Dubai. Not because Dubai is something, that's amazing, which it is, but a lot of it depends on the external factors as well. Now, this was just an overview about Dubai, where the communities are. Now we'll get deep into basically the details of all the projects. So now this is the first community that we're going to look at. Right now, Miras, speaking a bit more about Miras is a very famous developer over here, government-backed developer, and they have amazing projects before. If you look at Blue Waters Island, City Walk, all these kind of hot spots, MJL, Medina Jumeirah, living in front of Burj Al Arab, all these things which you'll see the renders right now on the screen up. Now, Miras has come up with this master plan community. It is a massive community. We saw where it was on the map. Now we'll go to the brochure. We'll see some of the things and what they are. Now, as you mentioned, you want to see something with garden style living, family style living, something that has schools, lakes, all these kind of things which really give that family vibe. And this has been a trend since COVID. We have seen most of the developers basically coming up with these facilities and amenities, right? We have gardens, all sites, all shapes and sizes of gardens, parks, lakes or wadis as they're called in Arabic, as well as valleys. All these things, they are basically intertwined in all these projects. You're going to see the same theme in Acres, you're going to see the same theme in Athlon, and you're going to see the same theme in Shobha, which again, in my opinion, is the best. We'll get to that. We'll keep the best for last, basically. So looking at this, as you can see, this is basically the Acres project. Now, this is one of their famous snapshots that basically is going around everywhere. Now, this is basically a flyover snapshot of the Acres community. Step inside the outdoors. That's basically their theme. And again, as I mentioned, with Athlon, Miras, and Elwood, you're going to see this consistently recurring theme where we're looking at, bringing the outdoors inside, or step inside the outdoors as they've well laid out over here. Now, this is one of the snapshots of basically the lagoons that they're going to have. Now, speaking about the location, again, we saw this as a overall map in Dubai. This is a bit more toned down exactly where it is. It is right here, and right next to it was Athlon, and over here was basically Elwood, and of course this is the Al Ain highway that I was talking about, the massive highway that is currently being built. So and how it's going to work is that as I mentioned, we have Burj Al Arab, we have downtown, we have Palm Jumeirah, Blue Waters Island, and these are their projects, by the way. Blue Waters Island, in front of Burj Al Arab we have Medina Jumeirah Living. So again, and as I said, right, we have Dubai Polo Club, Mudon, Trump International Golf Course, Serena, Arabian Ranches. These are all suburban communities with townhouses. Now, Acres is coming in obviously with their villa community. So this is again, excellent location. We have the Emirates Road, we have Al Ain Dubai Road. This is where basically the trend is, the growth is at. This is where the suburban areas are at. So in terms of location, all three communities, by the way, in terms of location, are excellently located because they're all big developers. Miras, again, one of the biggest developers in Dubai. Al Dar is a publicly listed company actually in Abu Dhabi, and Shobha, we'll get to those as well. But Shobha, known for the construction of palaces in Oman for the sheikhs of Oman. So definitely they have a strong financial backing as well. Now, speaking about this location, as we saw where the location is, now getting into the master plan, nature's blueprint. Again, these guys are looking again very sustainability and all these things. Again, these are some of the other snapshots they have of basically the lagoon and how the community is going to span out. Now, this is the entire master plan community. As you can see, it is a massive master plan community. And just to explain how it's basically structured, we have on the sides, these are basically the smaller, the blue ones, as you can see, that are highlighted. So this is the entrance to the community. We have a community center, pool, lagoon, all these things. And then we have on the sides, we have a massive basically circle of smaller size villas. And then in the center, the snapshots that we were seeing with basically the lagoons and all those things, those are the middle, basically the mansions, the Acres luxury collection. So and we'll get into detail about all those things, but basically right now the portions that are released are these top smaller villas and couple of basically luxury collection villas as well, and the remaining of the community is still left. And again, basically one of the themes they have, which we'll get into right now, is about the garden themes. They have multiple gardens, and that is kind of a theme with all of the communities, as I mentioned, but this is just a master plan overview, as you can see right now. Now, as I mentioned, the gardens, so immersive amenities, again, so one of the first gardens they have rightly named is called the Arrival Garden, right? So in the Arrival Garden, of course, as you're coming in, you can see, once you're entering the community, obviously gorgeous landscaping and all those things. And, the theme will also be changing over the year, in summer and all these things. Then we have the Village Garden. Now in the Village Garden, we have a nice retail promenade, we have an adventure park. Then these are where the amenities shine. We have a primary school, we have a kindergarten, we have a clubhouse. As you can see over here, this is basically in front of the lagoon. We have this beautiful promenade. It's kind of like a marina style area. Of course, we don't have ships or anything. These are, basically waters without any disturbance as well. So beautiful retail, retail marina promenade and all these. Then we have a lagoon garden, as we saw one of the renders. We have bridges, lagoons, all these things. Then we have a nature garden. It has, ponds, outdoor gym, wellness area, all these things. Then we have, just a lost garden for all your kids to, have fun, play around, as you can see in the renders as well. Then we have a perfume garden, which is a pretty cool concept. It's a perennial garden, so it will be changing from time to time. Cluster gardens, there's an art garden as well. We have an edible garden as well. So fresh natural herbs are definitely something that is unique. Now, the first release, as I mentioned, this was the first release. These were basically the smaller villas that they have. Not smaller, obviously these are massive, but compared to the luxury estates in the middle, these are basically there. And most of these are basically sold out because this project was a bit older. Right now, they're focusing more on the middle mansion. So they still do have some units available. This is just a overview of basically the communities. We're gonna go over the overview because I don't wanna overwhelm basically with all the information right now. This is just to understand the community, but you can all imagine that this is, you know, from 8 to 10 million range, basically. Somewhat in Athlon, we also have higher prices as well, but getting too much information right now is going to be overwhelming. So we're just going to go over the communities first, see what they are about, understand what they are about, and then we can get into the nitty-gritty details, as I like to say. So again, that was the first release. Now these are, you know, some of the design inspirations they had. Now going into the villas, okay, so here we have the 4-bedroom villa, right? So this is basically a picture of basically the backyard of the 4-bedroom villa. Now you can see it's a bit more, you know, modern, minimalist design, of course, with the gardens and everything surrounding you. Beautiful, as they say, step inside the outdoors. So, you know, very open floor plan, floor to ceiling windows. Of course, this is the front. You do have your parking garage, you know, very nice rock theme and all these things as well. Now here we have the 5-bedroom villa. This is an internal shot of basically the villa. More or less, they're pretty much the same. Of course, this is going to be a larger, of course, with that extra bedroom. But again, this is, you know, a shot of the backyard. You can see, you know, we have pathways in between them, nice landscaping, and you know, floor to ceiling, double height, you know, foyer, very nice entrance, of course, modern kitchen design. Of course, these are all unfurnished, but you will be getting the fixtures and fittings as well. You can see beautiful windows that open up into the outside as well, continuing with that outdoor. This is the backyard. Now the 5 beds, again, the pool is in the renders, and we'll get into that details as well. It will not be included in, but there is basically going to be a provision for the pool, and the only developer that actually gives you the pool is Shoba. We'll get to that in the end as well. In my opinion, that's the best developer when it comes to this, but obviously for the sake of comparison, you know, everyone has their own perspective. So this is basically the backyard of that, excluding the pool. There will be a provision, but you will have to build a pool yourself if you would like. If you choose to keep it bare, of course, you can have grass as well, but beautiful, again, minimalist, simplistic design. Again, a snapshot of the interior. Again, it's not furnished, but you will be getting the fixtures and fittings. So this was basically a quick snapshot of Acres by Mirage. So we looked at the location, we understood the, you know, the theme of basically the community, the garden style concepts that they have, the multiple gardens they will be having. We looked at the master plan, understanding, you know, the sides, how they are being released right now. Then in the middle, of course, we have the lagoon waters and all those things. And again, this is a gated community, so the community in of itself will be open. But of course, if you would like to get into a cluster, there will be security posts, but this is basically an overall idea of the community. Now next, let's move on to Athlon by Eldar. Now we're going to talk about Athlon by Eldar, and as you can see, their tagline, welcome to active living. So basically, Athlon by Eldar, just a bit of background about Eldar. They are basically a developer that's based in Abu Dhabi. They have massive amounts of development, like Yas Island, on Yas Island, and you know, all these famous places in Abu Dhabi, and they are a Abu Dhabi based developer. They are one of the largest developers that is right now in UAE, and they have debuted their basically presence now in Dubai as well, with their first master plan community, which was called Haven. So Haven was a massive success. Again, they had apartments, they had townhouses, they had villas, and now we are coming to Athlon, which is the same concept. They start from townhouses and they have all the way up to premium villas. Now, in my opinion, that is a cool concept. It gives you a larger community, but as we're going to see on Miras' vision, that where we saw that Acres, they don't have townhouses or apartments. It is a villa exclusive community. With Athlon, they're going with a bit of a different approach. They do have apartments, townhouses, and villas basically as well. And Shoba, which we're going to see after this, is also an exclusive community as well. Now, these guys, they basically partnered up with Manchester City, I believe, you know, all the athletes from there, just to understand that, okay, if you are an athlete, you are living that athletic lifestyle, what are the things you will need on a day-to-day basis to keep sure that you're at peak performance, your strength is amazing, and you are focusing on your fitness and your wellness. Now let's get into the details, and then we're going to understand where it is. As you can see, beautiful render. This is basically the clubhouse, and you can see the cycling shop is there. You know, you can rent a bike, very active wellness style lifestyle community right here. Again, as I said, these are all Manchester City players. Dubai, world's most active city. Of course, we do have the Dubai Marathon, the Dubai Run, the Dubai, in September, October, we have a fitness challenge in November. So, fairly active. Again, focusing on that fitness team. Now, this is basically a master plan of the community. You can see it's much larger than Acres, but it comprises of a lot more. At the corner, of course, as you can see, we have all the apartments, and starting from this side, basically all these, bottom lines, these are all townhouses, and then in the middle, these lines, basically, if you can see closest to the amenities, that is basically where the villas are. And again, I'm not going to go into many specifics about the pricing, the payment plan, all these things, because I believe it'll be overwhelming. This is just to look at the options that we have right now, but yes, they are all from the 8 to 10 million range as well. And of course, they do have options that are much higher as well, but it will be in that 8 to 10 million range. Again, we're talking about villas in Dubai. These are something that's very premium, and of course, as we all know, Dubai, it's a small city. We don't have a lot of land, and I always like to say on the YouTube channel, we can't really print houses, and until the day we can, there's massive opportunity and off plan, because these developments, they take time. See, if you talk about Imar or these apartment buildings, they're much more easier to construct. They may be more engineering, the engineering may be a bit more challenging because you have to make a foundation and all these things, but it's a single plot, right? And especially with the expertise these developers have right now. I mean, once they get the foundation ready, and every 2 to 3 weeks they can add a floor and they can go all the way up, and then fixtures and fittings take a bit of time. But the logistical challenge we have with communities that are this big is just look at the massive area. Right now, to make sure to spread out the logistics, to spread out the manpower, to spread out the materials and the filling and all these things, it takes a lot of time, and that is where off-plan opportunity gives you. When you get in early, you lock in that time. It takes 3-4 years for the communities to develop, and then you basically, by the time you get the handover, it is already much higher, capital appreciation. Plus, you got a nice payment plan as well. So then you don't have to rely on a bank to pay. It's interest free. Okay, there's no extra fees as well. The developers are basically financing you for free, and you lock in that price for today, and then by the time you get it handed over, it's much better. So this is again an overview of the master plan. Now in the middle, you can see the amenities, basically this Y fork over here and going straight. That's where all the active lifestyle and everything is. Again, over here we have the apartments. Over there you can see the school. We have a mosque over there, and all the amenities that they have. Of course, nice garden style, starting with townhouses and going higher and higher in price until we get to the center of the community. So a very different approach from Miraz, as you can see in this master plan. Again, focused on moving. This is another shot of the master plan. They have a 4.6 kilometer trail running loop. We have 2.2 kilometer family friendly loop, cycling loop, 7 clubhouses. Again, from this side, we're starting from townhouses going all the way to villas, and you can see basically the veins of the community and where everything is laid out. Now, we saw the location earlier as well. Right over here, this is where the Acres community is coming up. This is where Athlon is. Again, excellent connectivity. As you can see, Barari is a very famous community. Dubai Hills Global Village. So excellent connectivity. You can see Dubai Mall, downtown Burj Khalifa, 30 minutes. Dubai Airport, 30 minutes, more or less. And the key point about this is that because it is connected to all the major highways like Emirates Road, Al Ain Highway, you don't have to get stuck in traffic. Because let's say if you're living in Emirates Living, which is over here, another exclusive community with villas, townhouses, and all these things. But at peak hours, when you're looking at Marina, JLT, I mean, there's a lot of traffic over there, right? 9 to 5, it slowly becomes, because obviously those communities 5-10 years ago were pretty new. Now they have matured. A lot of people are living there. It's an excellent community. But these developers are basically learning from all their past experiences, trying to make the locations better, trying to make the access roads better, trying to make the layouts of the community better, so it is easier for people to access and everything. So again, excellent community. Again, we spoke about the new airport coming here. The old airport is over there, so we can see they're pretty much right smack in the middle. So wherever you want to go, it's easy for you. And plus, of course, this is where the suburban lifestyle comes in as well. Okay, so this is another close-up of basically the the active community style. Again, we have the apartments, townhouses, villas, all these things included. Now, this is basically the 4-bed villa that these guys have. Completely different design ethos from what Miraz was going for. So this is a 4-bed premium villa. This is basically the availability they have. You can see just to show you the design. Of course, this is the back, and again, this design ethos is very in right now, where we have floor-to-ceiling windows, bringing the inside, bringing the outside inside. Of course, even Athlon continuing with that same theme over here as well. Now, again, you can see a small pool over here, but the pool is not included. They have given you a provision. You can make it yourself if you would. Now, this is the floor plan of basically, the 4-bed villa. Of course, we have the ground floor. If we, get in, basically, this, you can pause the video to see, see it better. But this is going to be a G+1 style living, and of course, again, that is a provision for the pool. The pool is not included, but excellent layout. Aldar has a very specific design ethos when it comes to their layouts. They're a bit more different, but more or less, you're gonna find Athlon, Acres, and Shoba Elwood to have basically a similar layout. Now, these are some of the renders of basically the inside. Again, these are not furnished, but they will include all the fixtures and fittings. For example, the kitchen, the white goods, all those things will be included. This is, just some renders of basically the floor plans and everything that they have decided. Again, corner, gorgeous floor-to-ceiling windows. Again, we have a double-heighted foyer over here as well. Gorgeous bathrooms. Again, the fixtures and fittings of all these things will be included, and of course they have multiple designs as well. So this was a quick presentation on basically Athlon by Aldar. We understood the master plan, the location, the design ethos, the theme that they're going for, that active lifestyle theme. So this was option number 2 with the 3-bed villa communities in Dubai, in my opinion. Now, lastly, I've kept my personal favorite, Shoba Elwood, for the end. Elwood, in my opinion, Shoba, in my opinion, is one of the best developers when it comes to quality, when it comes to exclusivity, design, and of course, your ideas that they come up with as well. So we covered Acres, we covered Athlon. So now let's dive deep into Shoba Elwood. Before we get into this presentation, we're going to speak a bit more about Shoba Elwood, Shoba as a developer as well. Now, Shoba was founded by PNC Mayman, and it is one of the only developers in all of Dubai that is, that is vertically integrated. So Shoba develops their entire designs from start to finish. They develop their designs, for example, in tiles, fixtures, fittings, all these kind of things that they develop by themselves. Then they manufacture it themselves, and then they install it themselves, and they hand over the product themselves. So giving them that control of the entire supply chain and the logistics of controlling the entire supply chain really gives them an edge over other developers, where they can really maintain that quality, and they have 7-layer foundations, all these massive things that Shoba really looks at. Their basically tagline is the art of the detail. This is what they stand out in, and Shoba Elwood is of course continuing on with that theme. Now, PNC Mayman started making palaces for the Oman Sheikh, so you can imagine if those guys are trusting them with their personal residences, you can imagine, of course, he is very well qualified to come and build residential communities, and they have, and they've been very successful. Shoba Heartland 1, Shoba Heartland 2, they have Shoba Reserve, all these communities. Shoba 1, they have been doing massive amount of sales as well. Actually, they are the second most sold developer in Dubai, right after tier 1 developer Imar, which is very shocking, frankly. I mean, but they definitely have their buyer, and people who buy them once, or people who understand what Shoba is, they really avoid buying other developers like Imar as well. Everyone has their own personal preference, but when people see what they're about, they also have a museum here in Dubai where they have a walkthrough of basically what their history is, all their building materials. They have cutouts of sinks and all these things just to show you in depth again about their tagline, again, which is called the art of the detail. So they really show about how they go into the detail of making everything. Now, speaking a bit more about this community, Shoba Elwood, we're going to start off with this launch video, and you can see it's in the middle of a forest. So the reason they have done that is because this community is inspired by forests. They have many different types of forests from inspirations. We're going to get into those details. Again, in my opinion, this is the best community that is available right now, because number one, it's exclusive. We don't have townhouses, they don't have apartments, all these things. They might have it, they might have apartments in the future, but even that will be separate from basically the villa community. These are basically 4, 5, and 6 bedroom villas with I believe 7 to 8 forest style design themes, which we'll get into the details as well. And it's located directly on the Aeon highway. So accessibility is great, and it's located right next to Imar's master plan community, the Valley, which also includes farm gardens. We're looking at 10, 15, 20 million basically houses right next to your community as well, and this community is high end as well. So I believe the exclusivity is a bit more better. It's not as big as Athlon, but they, try to encompass everything in that community. It's not as big as Miraz with the amount of options you saw there. The amount of options over here is a bit more less, it's a bit more secluded, it's a bit more exclusive in my opinion. And of course, being close to a master plan community like, let's say, the Valley and Farm Gardens by Emar, they've chosen an excellent location, and right being on the Al Ain Highway, again, that accessibility is excellent as well. And to top it all off, the cherry on the top is by Shoba. As we talked about, Shoba right now, one of the best developers in my opinion, when it comes to looking at the details. Because see, they're two very different things. Either you're looking just for investment and you want to just get in, you're never going to actually live in there, you're just going to rent it out, so you might not care that much. But when it comes to these kind of houses where you're going to live there with your family, with your personally, you want to experience something and you're spending this much money, you really want to focus on the detail. You want to focus on everything. You don't want just, copy-paste floor plan type layout where they basically, just mass produce all these things. And they don't really, think about a lot of the things, don't think about the kids and all these things, what kind of amenities they are. So if you're looking for residential, properties, in my opinion, my two favorite developers are Ellington and Shoba. But, so Shoba, this is definitely, Elwood we're going to speak about, right? So let's start with this video just to understand what their theme is. 7 forests. So we have all these forests. 10,000 plus trees. So this was just a launch video of basically Shoba Elwood. As we see, it is basically inspired by nature. We have 7 forests that they're going to be basically theming inside their community, and 47% of the community is going to be green. Now that is a lot of space, in my opinion. Not every developer is doing that, where they are basically, allocating 47%. That is almost half of the community is going to be filled with greenery, going to be filled with rainforest. As you saw, 10,000 plus trees. That is a lot of trees. So you can imagine the oxygen levels are going to be amazing. And when you're living in the Dubai heat, having a lot of trees really does help. It will bring down the temperature, almost 4 to 5 degrees from the surrounding area. So it is really something that is to behold with, what they have come up with over here. Now let's go to the presentation and, we'll see more about what Elwood has to offer. Here we are with Shoba Elwood. First and foremost, gorgeous logo over there. Of course, as we saw in the beginning, they combined all those forests, and being infused with nature is basically the theme behind this logo as well. Now, this is basically, we noticed the smallest details, so you don't have to. This is what I was referring to earlier, where I said, Shoba is one of those developers where you want to buy if you want to live in personal, okay? If you just want to invest, even when it comes to apartments and even when it comes to the townhouses and villas, if you want to live in yourself, Shoba is definitely the area to go. Now, it might not be the lowest price, but you really do get what you pay for, right? So, and in this case, if we compare it with Acres and Athlon, it is very competitively priced as well. Again, I'm not going to go super into the details, but you can be rest assured, these projects are all from 8 to 10 million in that range. Of course, they all come with a payment plan and all these things. This video is just to explain to you the design ethos of all the projects and the communities that are coming up basically. Again, as I was speaking about, these guys have backward integration, forward thinking. That's a cool catchphrase that they came up with. So when they do the design, masterfully conceptualized, that they have their own material sourcing, they have their own quality control, they have their own contract contractors, their own engineering team, so and their own craftsmanship. It's not like that, they're just a master plan developer, which a lot of developers are. They just design the community, then the land is from somewhere else, or contractors or someone else. So this is one of those companies that, again, as I said, they look at every single detail, from where the land is going to be, what design is going to be, what materials are sourced from where, and they ensure that they have their own manpower, ensuring to achieve the vision that they vision for themselves. Nature, the essence of human life. Nature is our greatest inspiration, as well as continuing on with that design ethos. Now, getting into the location, again, we already looked at the Shoba Elwood location in the larger map. So this is just for reference. Again, this is where Acreswood, this is where Athlon is, this is where Shoba Elwood is, right along the Al Ain Highway. This is where Mars Valley Community and Farm Gardens is coming. So excellent location, very easily accessible. You have direct access to the highway, so you can ensure you can stay out of traffic and you can get wherever you want. Now, this is basically the master plan. As I was saying, it is not as big as the others because, in my opinion, it's a bit better. It's a bit more exclusive, right? In other communities, we have townhouses, apartments, all these things that basically make it more. If you can see over here, and again, 47% is green space, which you can see over here. So you can ensure no matter what unit you are getting, you are being basically close to some park, some garden, some amenity. And in the future, they will have some apartments here, but they do also have a school, they have a clinic, all these things, so to ensure that you are basically living everywhere. And this entire side we can see is going to be farm gardens, and this is going to be the valley. So again, very suburban style area. And then we have direct access to Dubai Al Ain Road, which is excellent for connectivity in Dubai. Now, we're going to look at the 7 forests around the world that inspired Shoba, and they have continued on with the theme. First and foremost, we have the Daintree Forest, which is inspired by Australia, and basically, towering trees, lush landscape, one of the oldest rainforests on Earth, actually, which is pretty crazy. But if you look at where it is located, and now you will get a sense of how they have, strategically located different areas and different style forests in between the community. So it doesn't matter which unit you have, you will be surrounded by some excellent representation. And we'll look at some more renders of the forest as well. Then we have the Baobab Forest from South Africa, gorgeous, unique looking trees as well. The Baobab tree, the very famous Baobab tree. We'll look at more renders of this. Then we have the Bristlecone Forest from California. Again, you can see the location. This forest from Poland, I'm not even sure how that's pronounced. And then the Amazon Rainforest from South America, Fukushima Forest from Japan. Of course, we have, beautiful animals, cherry blossoms and stuff. Very mystical Yakushima Forest, where ancient cedars create a fairy tale. Then we have the Taiga Forest, which is inspired by Russia and Canadian forests, coniferous trees. They are fairly tall and very excellently located. Again, these were all the 7 forests that were inspired for this community. Now, looking a bit more about the design philosophy. Again, Shoba has a very minimalist modernism design. Of course, they are integrated with nature, and they have very functional layouts. And as I mentioned, this is one of the developers that actually includes the pool, so you don't have to go out there. Now, this is just a snapshot of basically, their main community center and hall. Now, this is going to be the Shoba Villa 4-bedroom. Again, we're going to look at it. As you can see, very minimalist, modernist design ethos. This is from the front, obviously, and this is the backyard. We have your pool, and again, surrounded by greenery. We're gonna look at the floor plan. These are multiple styles that they do have. This is, of course, the 6-bedroom villa. Looking at the back, looking at the interiors. Again, this is where Shoba shines again. Speaking more about the quality, basically all these styles, designs, all these things, and just the floor slab as well. When you're looking about the first floor, they have 7 layers when it comes between floors, so it ensures that there's no water dripping, all these things. Because if you're planning to live with your family, and let's say you're living in this villa for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you want to create that history, those memories. You want to ensure the construction quality lasts. You don't have all these kind of problems in the future that come with mass production. Again, floor to ceiling windows, gorgeous layouts. Again, these are not furnished, but they will come with all the fixtures and the fittings. They have a cool, amazing master bedroom design, where at the back we have the closet, and then we have a wall, more renderings of the area. Now, when it comes to kitchens, Shoba is very well known for quality and design for their kitchens. All these things are created in-house. These are all soft closed doors. We have very high-end appliances used for Bosch or Miele, one of the top brands available. And of course, this minimalist design ethos. Over there, you can see the pantry with glass covers as well. Of course, we have the kitchen hood, and all these things very excellently laid out. Now, this is the clubhouse. This is basically where you will be having all your amenities. They have arcade room in there, a yoga room, a gym, all the things that you need, and then of course a community pool, massive infinity pool as well, sunbeds, all these things that you can. Of course, they have trails and all these things for your exercise needs and everything. Again, when it comes to these kind of master plan communities, you really don't have to worry about the amenities, and what's included, what's not included. Am I missing out on something? These developers, they go through huge lengths to ensure that they have covered everything that is available. Again, another snapshot of basically the clubhouse, the community, and then overall the community. Now, this is basically again, plan. This is the first launch, so they're basically releasing half of it. Again, 47% of the community is green, and as you can see, there's only 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, and 6-bedroom villas. We don't have townhouses, we don't have apartments or anything in the middle of these as well. So in my opinion, it's a bit more exclusive. Again, direct access to Dubai indoor. Now, this is the floor plan of the 4-bed villa. Of course, it is G+1. You can pause the video as well. Again, we have that pool included in the price as well. Pause the video to better understand the floor plan. As the 5-bed is also G+1. The 6-bedroom villas are actually much larger. They're G+2. So over here, you can see there's a ground floor, a first floor, and a second floor. You can reach out for more details on all these things, and then we can discuss further. So this was basically Shoba, Elwood. Again, they are also partners with Arsenal. So if you're a football fan, that's pretty cool to see as well. So this brings us to the conclusion of this presentation. These are the 3 best communities, in my opinion, that are available right now. We have Miras Acres, we have Athlon by Altar, we have Shoba, Elwood. Again, we didn't really get into the nitty-gritty details because I feel like that would have, extended the video much longer than it has to be. But all these options are from the 8 to 10 million range. There are some projects with, would have much higher, for example, Acres and Athlon that go beyond, 10, 11 million, along with Shoba as well. But on average, the starting, if you're looking at 8 to 10 million, is definitely doable. They all do come with payment plans, and they all have nice, basically, completion dates. They'll all be ready in 2 to 3 years time, basically. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.